Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to talk about our project on uh, enabling UK DRIs to use MyAccessID as a federated IAM solution. My name is Ashish. I work at the at BRICS at the University of Bristol. There are three of us here to talk about this project. I'll be taking you through the first part of the slide. So as part of the project, we are looking at MyAccessID as a federated IAM solution and how UK DRIs can use that as to solve a unified access for the users to use the DRI services that they provide. So the project consists of a collaboration between the University of Bristol, University of Cambridge, the STFC Heart Rate Center, and UCL. These are the project members that are part of the team. So let's look at what is MyAccessID in a bit more detail. To provide you a historical context of MyAccessID, this was developed as a solution by the European collaborators. I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Zen, for these large European HPC centers. And they wanted an easy way for their users to have a unified access to their DRI services. So you can imagine MyAccessID as sitting between the DRIs and an IDP provider. So for a user coming in to use the services offered by the DRIs would use MyAccessID to get an existing identity of the user that they have in the IDP. And MyAccessID connects to the EduGain identity provider. So that means the users can just use their existing institutional identity in the EduGain identity provider. And EduGain is supported worldwide, including the UK, EU, US, and Asia. That means they can use their existing identity, institutional identity that's part of EduGain to log into the DRI service using MyAccessID. In essence, what this enables is that as DRI providers, we don't have to run an IAM solution. As a user, we don't have to create and keep track of another set of username and password, and all the parties are happy. So on the right, you can see that, oh, this was already running. On the right, you can see a demonstration of a solution that we have at BRICS that uses MyAccessID to log in. So here, what we're actually seeing is the BRICS portal, a user logging into the BRICS portal using the MyAccessID. So I should have actually shown you this from the beginning. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, so this is a BRICS portal. So that's not playing now. Anyways, so the project consists of three parts. So first we look at developing case studies, training materials, and reference architectures by looking at existing and ongoing deployments of MyAccessID. Then the second part consists of exploration of alternative identity connectors to fit cases where MyAccessID may not be suitable, or maybe when MyAccessID goes down, what do we do? And the third part is about cultivating a community of practice so that we can convince or make other DRIs to be interested in using MyAccessID as a federated IAM solution. So looking at the first work package, like I said, okay, I may not have said this before, but the AS sites currently, both of the AS sites, Dawn and December, they make use of MyAccessID as a federated IAM solution. So that's an existing deployment, and UCL is on the way of looking at how to deploy MyAccessID, take this to examples, and then try to create reference technical architectures, and also equally importantly, reference governance and legal documents and training materials to aid future DRI providers who may be interested in using MyAccessID as a federated IAM solution. And then the aim is to publish all this to make deploying MyAccessID easier in the future. So I'll hand over to my colleague who can take you through the next step.
Hi, I'm Ayman. I work at Hartree Center. I'm a software engineer at the Hartree Center in STFC. So with Work Package 2, we're focusing on identity connector solutions. Yeah. So today, MyAccessID works well for academic identities. But one of the questions we're facing is, how do we bring in people from government or businesses or other research institutes who also need access to UK DRIs? And to address this, we're developing a set of case studies that highlight scenarios in which such non-academic identities are required, such as a government researcher accessing an HPC system. And that will help us identify and better understand the challenges involved. From there, we are carrying out technical evaluations of identity connectors. These are solutions or technologies that could supplement MyAccessID in order to authenticate non-academic identities alongside academic ones. And finally, we're not just focusing on the technology, we also need to suggest ways to make such an identity connector be sustainable so that it can be operated and funded reliably. That's all from me. That's over to Deepak.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you, Ayman. Myself, Deepak Aggarwal. I'm from University of Cambridge. And the context of this project is we were implementing this solution for a project called AIR, which you mostly would be familiar with. So there were two sites selected as part of the AIR project. One was Bristol, other was University of Cambridge. So Bristol was implementing their solution. We were implementing our solution. Then this thing called MyAccessID came into consideration because one of the challenge that we think when we think about onboarding and offboarding users from different institutes is about managing their identities and their association with the institutes as well, because people move across organizations. So once they are moving, the association with a particular project could end because they are moving to some other institute. So it's the funding, some of the funding agencies demands that. So this solution also, kind of resolve that issue of offboarding of people once you onboard them. So when we were developing this solution, we were developing this, Bristol implemented MyAccessID in a different way. We implemented MyAccessID in a different way. And, in the context of this project, the idea is to come up with a project through which we can share the experience, the learnings that we have at both sides achieved, and bringing two more partners who don't have currently MyAccessID solution implemented on their side. So firstly, as part of this project, we will be helping the other two partners for implementing MyAccessID in their services. So it's like knowledge sharing from Bristol and Cambridge, but at the same time, we want to reach out to the wider community so that small size, they don't have to reinvent the wheel, and we from our sides we can share our experience, but the idea is to not enforce what we know and what we have done at our side, because we have very unique use cases. So just to echo what John said in the morning, each site can have the autonomy of how they want to implement the solution, but the idea is to enable them how they can do it with minimum efforts without spending too much time in finding out what we have already found out. So then this aspect of the third pillar of this project, which is coming up with a community of practice. So the main purpose is to develop a dynamic community of practice who can share, expertise, case studies, training materials that we'll be coming up with for MyAccessID adoption. Second, to provide a forum for problem solving and knowledge sharing. The third one, which is also very important, is to disseminate the project outputs through the workshop that we'll be having at the end of this project. The impact, in terms of the impact, we are looking at representing both the users as well as the service providers and providing them a platform to come up with the issues that they are facing in terms of reaching out to the diverse category of users across institution, as well as users have they don't have to remember different user IDs and password in terms of accessing different services at the same time. So supporting diverse use cases, and finally to feed into the governance structures for the rollout across UK, and how we can participate in MyAccessID on a bigger scale. One of the interaction that I had with someone in this room is, a small institute cannot request access to MyAccessID, and they will not appreciate that, in terms of reaching out to the users. Your service is not big enough that needs federation, but that doesn't mean that they can't use this service. So to reaching out to those people and helping those people in terms of adopting this solution is something that we are trying to achieve through this project, and particularly through this package. Thank you.